Join Alex, Shanah, and Grace, that's me, as we hit the road to discover who we are in light of who God is. Along the way, we'll be joined by friends, authors, and community leaders to discuss the intersection of faith and action and have a ton of fun while doing it. So grab a coffee, jump in the car with us, and let's roll.
Guys!
Woo!
Oh my gosh!
It's happening.
It is happening.
Gosh, you guys are in the car with us.
Welcome to my car.
We are in the car.
Welcome to
Carpool Theology.
Shanah just honked!
I'm dead.
What's up, everyone?
What's up? What up? Here we go.
Welcome to the car. We're Carpool Theology.
Yes, we are.
And thank you guys so much for joining. It's our first episode, you guys.
Welcome.
E1.
I mean, episode 1, take 5.
Yes, literally.
Let's be real for the people.
We learned a lot.
Yeah.
We have learned so much about this process.
Yeah.
It is challenging. And you know what? In true freaking fashion, being the women that we are, that love a good challenge, we were like, let's start a visual podcast.
Yeah.
In a moving vehicle.
In a moving vehicle.
Like, let's just really elevate the amount of things we need to figure out logistically. Let's do it.
Yeah. You know, because it's not enough to just podcast in a studio. Let's get in a moving car, you know?
Yes.
If we were in a studio, they would not be able to, one, see our gorgeousness.
Well,
and second of all, the disco ball.
Yeah, the disco ball, guys. So this is
Yes.
an integral part of our
Yes.
joy.
Yes.
Like,
And let's be also
infinite
honest. We haven't necessarily figured out exactly yet how to make sure the disco ball doesn't fall when we hit a
Right.
bump or a turn. So there might be a few episodes coming up where maybe in one scene you will see the disco ball if you're watching, on YouTube. But then, the next scene, there's no disco ball.
Yeah.
So
What
just be
happened?
aware of that. But it is our mascot, I will say.
It's like an Easter egg.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Disco ball, no disco ball.
Yes. Always with us, but in spirit. So
Oh,
good.
MG. I love it. Well, you guys, I think we should start by telling our friends who we are.
Get to know us.
Like, who the heck are we? Okay.
Go ahead, Alex.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, what's up? I'm Alex, registered. And let's see, I'm married to Daniel, been married almost 9 years. And we have 4 babies. Mason's 9, Nora's 7, Hayden's 4, Reagan's 1, almost 2.
Whew.
Yeah, girl. So it's a while now over at home. Shout out to my hubby who's holding it down. He's awesome. But yeah, so we do that. And
We do that.
on top of that, the Lord put a passion in my heart for business, and I own and operate not one but 2 businesses under an umbrella, really. But yeah, I am a graphic designer and a digital illustrator, and I have a passion for just creating apparel and a community and events that just circulate around communicating the love of Christ. And so, yeah, we started out just creating apparel, and now we have a retail store, and that's kind of our hub for in-person community.
Yeah.
And just, connection and community, and being a place in Fresno that people can come and hang out, and sometimes we talk about Jesus, and other times we just have fun, which is like
buy pretty things.
Yeah, all the good things. So there's that, and then we own a printing company, and then the newest kind of side of that is education. So I educate. It's so fun. I get to teach kids digital illustration, design, screen printing. And it's really ignited a fire in me that I have for youth and just being a light in that realm, which is kind of different, but super fun. And then all of that really obviously is a part of just my ministry and my heart for the Lord. And I'm so grateful that I get to, that's my job.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really fun. And then I hang out with youth at our church, high schoolers. And I'm super involved with that. And most recently, I'm in a biblical study, like a residency program. It's called residency.
Yeah.
Essentially going to school for biblical literacy. So I'm pursuing just knowledge in the Bible to be a better communicator and to also just know the Lord's story and the depth of it, and just get to know Him more. So I'm really stoked about that. That's where I'm at in life right now. A lot going on, but and I guess professional podcasters, like what we're considering now.
Yeah. My name is Shanah Wisely, and I am wife to Sean Wisely. And let's see, we have 2 kiddos. We have 2 daughters, 16 and 13, Eden and Emma. And yeah, we're kind of transplants from San Diego. We moved up. Our December will be 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been back in the Fresno. And I work at a local church in Fresno, and I run a recovery ministry, particularly the women's side of the recovery ministry. So I walk with about, at any given time, about 20 leaders and 5 coaches. Maybe a little more leaders than that. But yeah, that's kind of what I do professionally. I'm also a professional podcaster now.
Episode 1 to, however many listeners we have today.
Yeah. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. Hi, Mom.
And let's see what else. Oh, I'm starting school in March to become a spiritual director, which is really just to solidify a lot of what I already do. Getting to walk with people through hard things and point them to Jesus, which is my passion. It is why I get out of bed every day. It's awesome.
I love that.
I'm Grace. I am wife to Matt. We have 2 daughters, Selah and Sunday. They are 4 and 2, about to be 3. They're 16 months apart. So that is a hoot and a holler in my house at all times. We also have a bulldog as of recently. Her name is Malibu. And she is a large bulldog. She has hips that do not lie. It's been very fun hanging with her.
Thick gal.
She's a thick gal. My husband is one of the pastors at our church, and his emphasis our emphasis really is young adults. And so we love hanging with them and having a heart and hopefully vision for the next generation, how to reach them with the gospel. And then I work for a nonprofit in our city that we do a lot of transformational neighborhood work, everything from literacy, helping kids read, to civic development, and helping residents engage in their neighborhoods and give them resources to transform our city. Really, the beginning of this podcast was Shanah and Alex went on a little trip. Can you guys tell us a little bit about that?
Sure did.
We went on an epic road trip
We did.
for one of our favorites.
Yes.
Alana Little. Big
Shout out to
Pie.
Alana if you're listening.
Yeah, we were friends.
Yeah.
We had hung out
Yeah.
one-on-one before.
Yeah.
And we were in a car on Labor Day weekend to Zion National Park.
Yep.
Which a lot of other people were doing that too.
Yes. Yes. That was quite the experience.
So we had
2-lane road.
Yeah. For how many hours?
It was ended up being 14 hours in the car on the way there.
Oh, dude,
Because
it was so
we were
long.
stuck in traffic for about 3.
Yeah. So then on the way back, we're like, we have a great idea.
We do.
We're going to listen to an audiobook together, Holier Than Thou by Jackie Hill Perry. And it's going to be great. We probably won't make it through the whole thing. We'll just listen a little bit. Maybe we'll podcast a little bit. Never mind. We'll just mess around.
Because the way there, we completely and fully told each other our entire life stories.
Yeah.
So we really had nothing else to talk about.
we covered it all.
Covered everything. We were like, we know everything about you. I
Yeah.
know what size your underwear are.
Exactly. We left nothing out.
Yeah. So it was great.
That's awesome.
But anyways, so we downloaded the book, and it completely obviously shifted our trajectory of what the next phase of life is gonna be. Spent 10 hours. We We listened to the entire book
You guys were in the car for 10
hours.
Yeah. And that was the quick way back.
That was the way back. So yeah, 10 hours, and we stopped chapter by chapter, multiple times a chapter, and just had this like amazing conversation.
Yeah.
Where I was able to be open and honest about like what I was processing through listening to the dissection of the holiness of God in a way that I'd never like had it explained to me before. And Shanah had that freedom to do so as we like had this side-by-side conversation that felt non-confrontational and just raw.
It was a lot of a lot of things that even we talked about on the way out and before we started the book that were like, oh, I'm seeing this right now in culture, and I'm seeing how it's impacting my walk with the Lord and people that I love's walk with the Lord, and even just how like what our children's future looks like via like social media and like social justice and all these things. We're already kind of like, I think the book gave us really good language for trusting like God's justice and his holiness and his goodness and his love and his, all of those things. And it just kind of blew our minds in such a good way and put language to what maybe we didn't have language for before.
Yes. Yeah, and then we were like, wow, this would be like really fun to do or listen to like as a fly on the window.
And we laughed our butts off.
We did. I was like, should we entertain this idea like of maybe making this a thing? Like, is this like a good idea? Like, so
and I'm pretty sure my response was, "This is our podcast.
Yeah,
this is happening.
This is it." And so then
we
called our BFF Grace.
Yes. Walking through Trader Joe's.
You were the first person on our list. We were like, we have got to call Grace.
Yeah.
She'll know what to do.
I love that.
She'll know.
I was walking through, not Trader Joe's, I was in Whole Foods.
You were bougie.
I leveled up, yeah.
Yeah, you were like,
and,
what? You're making bone
apparently
broth.
I had not a care in the world about my bank account.
Yeah, you were just bone brothing it.
Yeah,
you were just really crunchy that day.
Bone brothing it. I was feeling the crunchy side of myself.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to be a sponsor, reach out.
That's one does.
And I was stoked on it. They were so excited, and I'm just honored that y'all invited me into this process with you guys, and I love it so much. Hopefully,
okay, about that conversation, my favorite thing about that was like, this is Grace in Whole Foods. And I just picture you pushing your little cart, trying not to look like an absolute nut job. You're just like, guys, I'm so excited about this right now. I'm in Whole Foods and my mind is racing. I'm gonna go home and write my notebook.
You freaking were.
Yes.
And I loved it so much.
I'm still analog. I'm still like a pen and paper gal. So I had to write it down and brainstorm it out. But I'm really grateful that I'm in it with you guys now. It's so much fun.
Me too.
It's been about what, 6? No, not 6 months. It is 5 months.
At least.
We've been working on this.
Of us chatting.
By the time this releases, it'll probably be a solid 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
Which is good. Like, we're taking this seriously.
Yeah.
We really hold this with an open hand in essence to being led, but at the same time we hold it with high regard that we want to just bring the heat.
Yeah, I want to do this well and intentionally.
Yep. When we brainstormed it, if you have watched Carpool Karaoke with James Corden, Cash Cab, Alex loves to bring up Cash Cab.
Cash Cab.
Just this idea of like, how can we have deep theological faith conversations about faith and culture and how we live for Christ, and yet keep it light with a heart for like, we want y'all in the car with us. Like if we had a bus, like get in the car, like let's do it together. Should we add that to the dream board of bus? What? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Oh, yeah.
So we, that's our overall heart and mission, is that what we think about God, Carpool Theology, what you know about God, would change the way in which you live. And so we thought, as we launch the pod, as we begin, that you guys should know us a little bit, our heart, before we invite anyone else into the car, know who we are, and also like what the idea of like why we even want to do this, like the bread and butter of this is that what you think about theology is
God.
what you think about God
Yeah.
should change you. It should move you and change the way in which you live your life. And so I just kind of want to open up that conversation for Shanah. Like, what is theology? Define it for us, my friend. And like, give us kind of like that 1,000-foot view of where we're going.
Yeah, I think it can mean a lot of things in different contexts, right? Like in a seminary context, it's going to mean a lot of different things, right? But for our intents and purposes, inside our car, where we are the queens, we are going to talk about, when we say theology, we mean how you see God. And I think it was A.W. Tozer, and I'm not going to get the quote exactly right, but he talks about how you view God is the most important thing about you. And that has just always stuck with me. And that's kind of what is setting part of the trajectory for us, is how you see God impacts how you live your life. And if how you're living your life, if there's something that doesn't look like how Christ lived and calls us to live, there's probably a disconnect with how you view God. Like for a long time, I grew up in a really like legalistic like background, and so I felt like God was just waiting for me to mess up. Like he had given me this grace, and he was just waiting for me to mess up, and when I did, he's going to be like, smite you.
Yeah, you're out.
You know? And so I had this really like authoritarian view of God, and then when like my faith started to grow, and like I have come to see like God's faithfulness and his like love that pursues and all these other things, but that changed how I experienced God, how I lived out my faith, and everything else, and how I saw other people and judged other people, you know.
And that's what we are on a mission to center conversation around with people of different backgrounds, experiences,
are living out their faith in really tangible ways, but like a really varied way.
Oh, the disco ball almost went down.
Oof. The post-storm roads here out in California are not great. So they've been through a lot.
Speaking of change and theology, and what it looks like for theology to change our lives, I think we need to address the fact that specifically in the West and in American evangelical Christian culture, there is a deep trend, and maybe it's not a trend, but it feels like that way to me right now because of
tendency, for sure.
Because of our quick access to social media and just like quick consumption of ideology.
Little bites.
Yes, like we get these little bites of or nuggets of truth, right? So it's like tweets and reels, and you know, someone just like chatting on their stories, and we feel, or like even honestly like sermons, podcasts, like we just have so many resources right now. There is no lack of resources to get what ideology you want to consume.
Right.
I mean, ironically, we are a podcast. Like, we're starting this podcast, right? Like, that is funny because we don't want to just give you ideology. That, I think we are a Western Christianity that is fat off of ideology right now. You can get it in really any way, shape, or form.
Grace, what was the nugget that you threw out when we were like spitballing this? It's gorgeous. It's all of you.
I just said that like consumption will kill you without exercise.
So good.
And so this idea that like it is great to intake wisdom and knowledge, ideas. You know, it's good to be encouraged by other thought leaders, pastors, speakers, authors, all of that. That is good to an extent. Just like I love me some yummy food. We are foodies in this car. We love a good meal.
You will see that on the gram.
Yes. But like, we will get fat if we don't exercise it out, frick. And you know what? I hate exercise. It sucks.
I don't want to bring it back to the spiritual, and like
yes.
Scripture talks about like faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're getting at. And we hope that you're attached to a local church, a local body of believers, that you have people that you're doing life on life with, people that are asking you the hard questions, and that you're able to think like these like big ideas that we are going to put forth.
Yeah.
We're going to wrestle out, hopefully with you, like in the car with us.
Right.
That you're then going to take to people who know your history and your tendencies.
Yeah.
And your lens with the Lord.
Yes.
And bounce off with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ideally, this pod, and really any pod, any like media that you're consuming, is not a replacement for one-on-one with Christ.
Yeah.
And scripture, time in your Bible.
Yeah. Or discipleship.
Yes.
Accountability.
Yes.
It is a resource, right?
Yeah.
100.
We hope to be a resource. We hope to be I hope that conversations that we are cultivating here are a resource to help you kind of figure out what your theology is if you don't have that structure and you're not really it's not playing out in your life. It's meant to be a challenge for not only us and our guests, but also for y'all in the car with us to like challenge that.
Yeah.
And like, what do I believe about God? How is that reflecting in how I live?
Yeah.
And where am I drawing that from?
Yeah. And I invite you to look at it backwards too, of like, hey, I'm living these things out and I don't like it. What could that say about how I view God?
Yeah. Our goal is that you would have some, after each guest, some type of action step, that we can point you into like a direction of like, how do we like live that out?
Absolutely.
Process that'll hopefully be in our show notes, probably on our Instagram. We just really want to highlight people, organizations, community leaders that are doing the work on the.
I've heard it put really simply, the head and the heart and the hands. And like a lot of times, as if you're a really thinking Christian, it can be so much work just to get it from the head to the heart. Our encouragement to you is to not stop there, is to let it move your hands.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, because a lot of that practice, like, that's the refinement.
Yes.
That hard work. The actual, like, again, I can think about all day long. If we're going to go back to this, like, consumption without exercise will make you fat or, like, kill you. I can think about all day long that I want to feel stronger as, like, a physical person. Like, I want to not be winded when I run around with my kids.
Yeah.
But, like, until I actually, like, do the hard work and put in and day out of, like, building that strength.
Yeah.
There's not going to be improvement.
Yeah.
I'm not going to see that fruit of what I desire.
Mm-hmm.
And the desire is to go closer to Christ, to like learn more about Him, to represent Him well as a believer, and to just deepen my faith, right? And so that, I mean, we read in Scripture that requires us to go and be the hands and feet, and to labor, and to enter in with the Lord. And there's so many like action steps, right? So that's like what we talk about. But
yeah, cool.
Love.
Hey guys, thank you so much for jumping into our very first conversation. Your support means the actual world to us. So thanks for joining in and jumping in the car with us today.
Yes, we're so excited you guys are here. If you are watching us on YouTube or Spotify, you're not watching us anymore.
Awkward.
Thank you so much for being flexible with us, you guys, as we are each other's tech support, really. And Alex's husband, Daniel, has also been so helpful to us.
Cue picture of Daniel.
Yeah, cue picture of Daniel. Thanks so much for being deeply patient. We are working it all out so that things like this don't happen again. But we're going to figure it out. And so, yeah, episode 1, take 5. This was the best we could do.
You know what? Yeah, we gotta jump. We gotta jump in.
That's right.
Or else we're never gonna jump.
That's right.
Take that with what you will, but
Take that, learning curve.
we believe in just jumping in and learning as you go. Okay, so that being said, before we sign off, we want to remind you of a couple things. It's really important to us that you follow us on the socials. We're on Instagram at Carpool Theology. But most importantly, it would mean the world to us if you could like, subscribe, comment and share this podcast with your friends. So if you're listening on your favorite platform, whether it be podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or if you're watching us on YouTube, give us a like.
Yeah.
Give us
comment.
a subscribe.
Let's chat.
Comment. Let's chat. Also, review. Rate and review. We would really love that. So, thank you guys again so much. We're grateful you chose to hop in the car with us. And may this be the beginning of something sweet and beautiful that just glorifies our King.
Yeah. We'll see you in episode 2.
E2 coming out.
Peace out.
Bye.
Let's go, Girl Scout.